Hello, this is the third video of the Chapter 11 lecture about work, money, and leisure. In this chapter, we're going to talk about pro-work perspective. And as you know, part of the different perspective, three perspectives about work-leisure relationship. From this perspective, work is good. Work is not at fault. Work is ennobling. You know, even the most unpaid, unimportant, and unpleasant work is better than no work. And that's a strong statement. I don't know if many of you agree with that, right? Well, now with the COVID, now that's a little bit different. Now, leisure is simply able to help us work better. From this perspective, leisure is secondary. Work is number one. Who said that, Shin? Well, actually, probably a lot of people say probably similar things, but including Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. He passed away, but apparently he said this. I think this represents pro-work perspective, and he's known for, you know, having a pretty work-dominated life. I don't know, toward the end of his life, he may have changed a bit of his perspective, right? You know, we have toward the end of life, sometimes we have that kind of reflective thinking that maybe I should have done a little more than just work. But for some people, work is the number one. Now, to know whether people have a pro-work perspective, one of the good ways to, you know, one good question to ask is this. Let's hypothetically suppose you won an obscene amount of money in a lottery. Let's say like a 10 million US dollars. Would you still work if you with that money, never needed to work for money again? And that's exactly what a Gallup, which is like, you know, US-based polling and survey organization, they asked up to 2013. I didn't see a newer data, so I'm just using this. Of course, the answer could, you know, it seems to be changing a little bit, and also it could change because of the things like a COVID and things like that. But 2013, 68, about 70% said yes, they would continue working. That's a lot of people. Even they won $10 million, they would keep working. Maybe they think they can use up 10 million. That's a lot of money though. I don't know. So maybe for some of those people, they have a pro-work perspective. What about 1 billion? Would you still keep working? Related to this pro-work perspective is the concept called a central life interest, which is basically the primary focus, you know, the center of your life and identity, right? And work is typically that for many of us. How do you introduce yourself to other people when you meet them first time? Hi, I'm Bob. I'm a first year, you know, I'm a, you know, U of A student. I'm studying you know, chemistry or engineering or, you know, fine arts, right? You don't really have to say, go up and, you know, for example, me, go up to the people and say, hey, Shin, I'm Shin. I am, let's say, I play badminton. I love badminton. I play video game. I watch a lot of shows on Netflix. I love cooking. I love, you know, you don't really do that. If anybody does that to you, probably you're like, well, who is what? Like, that's a little weird, right? But at the same time, we know that leisure is an important part of people's life interest, and we do that. You know, we're aware, and we do that too. We use that too. For example, first date. Right? When you date. Yeah, you ask for, you know, what do you do for a living? That's one of those classic questions. You know, maybe not for your age right now, most of you guys, right? I mean, the answer is like, well, I'm a university student like you, right? But after that, we do ask question like, you know, what do you do for a living? But then we also ask for, oh, what do you do for your fun, right? Leisure. We do, because we think that leisure can be part of the central life interest. And that tells us the value of those people, other people. Now, in terms of central life interest, the chapter said this. I'm going to let you read that. Leisure as a central life interest is not viable, as impossible, not a possible, right? From this pro-work perspective, of course. And I want you to be able to disagree with this logically by using a concept that we learned. Can you? What about the concept, for example, something starts with the serious something we learned, right? That could take over people's work, especially when, people retire or something. And it could be very meaningful, right? I mean, from this perspective, what about the people who don't have a work? Is their life just by definition meaningless? I don't think so. A lot of people eventually stop working, whether it's retirement or unemployment or whatever that might be. So we are moving toward this lack of meaningfulness toward the end of a life? I don't think so. So can you disagree with this logically by using the concept? It doesn't have to be the concept the way I give you just a hint, right? But it doesn't have to be that, but anything. Now I'm going to stop talking and I'll see you in the next video. That was a pro-work perspective.